Good morning, everybody. It's Javier, and I'm super excited to be with you here today to share with you some very important news and also talk to you about the future. I mean, one of the things that I like to do for a living in my spare time is I like to think, I like to anticipate change, I like to be ahead of the curve, if you would. And there's a couple of curves coming up that are going to be impacting us dramatically. I'm going to get into maybe one or two, but not into everything. I don't want to overwhelm you. And as always, I'm almost a little bit opposite of what Rhett feels in some instances. So I always say, take it for what it's worth, take it with a grain of salt. And this is just how I feel based on my experience, on what I see, what I hear, especially who I hear things from. And we'll go into details as we move forward. Today, we're going to talk about something that's very important. We're going to talk about a couple of things, but let me start by making sure you can see this. Hold on one second. It's not even up yet. We're going to talk about this subject, and to my point, you'll notice that we don't have as many people as we usually do here today, and that's okay because it is being recorded. I'm going to go ahead and send it out to everybody once this thing is done. And so I want to make sure that we can go ahead and get started. First and foremost, that you can actually see what it is that I'm doing. So if anybody's on I don't have my monitor next to me, so I'm going to need your help. Let me just make sure this bad boy is up to speed. Let's see. Okay, with that. Okay, so I think. All right, so just bear with me. All right, so there we go. All right, so let me go just 1 second, and you can tell me once it's up and running. So let me just go ahead and restart it. Good morning, everybody. It's Javier. Today, we're going to talk about something that's very near and dear to our hearts, which is the industry, our business, and in which direction it's headed, and the impact that it could potentially have on your business as well. I say this, and I don't want anybody to take anything the wrong way, but I just like to be very upfront with everybody about everything and how I feel about what this is going to impact us in the mortgage world. Most of you are also real estate agents, so I guarantee you it's going to go ahead and impact you tremendously, whether you like it or not. And for some of you, it's not going to impact you a whole lot because maybe you don't have a whole lot of going on. So you're not going to see the big difference that other people are seeing. I deal with a lot of brokers, a lot of owners of mortgage companies and operations and so on. And so I say what I say based on the information I receive from many different sources. And so today we're going to talk about, it's going to be real quick, how to market mortgages and real estate, because they're all one and the same, in a rising, it's not a rising, but in a rising interest rate environment. And this is very important because of the fact that rates are going up. Has anybody seen rates lately? What are we talking about for conventional? Anybody?
5.1%.
Can't hear you.
5.1%.
5.3. Yeah, that's actually really good. We're looking at about 5.25 as of Friday, and for high balance over 5.5, and so that gets us closer technically to the 6. Remember what I told you? I think we're going to be around 7 before the end of the year is over, maybe 7.5, and I'm cheering for 8. That's my magic number, which I'll tell you at a different date why 8 makes such a big difference for me. But the point of it is that we have seen a tremendous drop off in the amount of refis. And so I'll talk to you about this in just 1 second. But before I do that, I wanted to share something with you that I think is very important. And that is this. I'm going to give you a free book. I love reading. I don't know if you like reading. And one of the things that I love about reading nowadays is that when we read, we can do that everywhere now. It's not like we have to bring a book with us everywhere we go. Or if you like to read a lot, you got to bring a bunch of books. You can just throw them literally into your phone, your tablet, your laptop, and read them there. And this is something that's going to be super, super important because I think with some of the changes that are coming, we're going to start to see a drop off of the number of loan officers, a drop off of the number of real estate agents, and a drop off of renewal of licenses. So this is going to be, for the lack of a better term, the first shoe has fallen. And I think that, we've all, well, not all of us, some of us have been here from 08, going back to the 2000s. I mean, we've all been through this before, or a lot of us have. And so it's just part of the business, and that's just the way it is. So I want you to understand that if a lot of our people sometimes sit on the sideline, if you're going to sit on the sideline, it's going to get very expensive when you're not making any money. And so therefore, I encourage you to make a decision in the coming months as to whether this is something you want to pursue further or not, because it doesn't get easier from here, just so you know. And I'm just being very upfront. And that's why I've been, preaching other things that I'll cover in just 1 second. Along those lines, what I want to do is just go ahead and go into this and show you what it is I'm talking about in regards to the 1% Better. It's an ebook, just free, but I would encourage you to please read it. Talks about how and why it makes sense to follow the Kaizen principle. If you don't understand what that is, read the book. It's really, really interesting. On the life insurance side, we actually have a program called Kaizen. That's what it is, where you funded a life insurance policy with $50,000, $100,000 of insurance, and it just turned into a ton of money. I mean, it's very popular, but it requires a lot of money. But it's funny that they chose the name Kaizen. So does anybody know what Kaizen means, what it stands for? Yeah, I'm just curious. The Kaizen itself, anybody? All right, anybody at all? All right, well, read the book. That's the best thing I can do. I'm not going to read it for you, but like I said, so I really want to cover the other stuff right now as well. And so anyways, go into this, understand how it applies to business, how a lot of people in business have used it to dramatically increase their success. And I'm saying this because, like, going back to the PowerPoint, let me just swing by over here. There's a tremendous shift going on, and most of us have no clue it's happening. And so it is happening, and it's going to impact every single one, some for the better, and I'll show you how it impacts some for the better, most, unfortunately, for the worst. And so it's very important for you to understand that if there's ever been a time to get serious about mortgages, it's right now. So, understand the marketing elements of mortgages, understand the also the psychology of success. This is where we have to, we've been riding a wave that kind of like in leading up to 08, man, every 6 months you could go back and refi the same customers because rates kept dropping for the last 5-6 years. Whereas now, I mean, when you see the tremendous, and I emphasize the word tremendous, I like it when people call me, not that I like it, but I'm just saying because it just validates when I got people that run their own, there's a lot of people I've trained, I've coached that have gone and opened up their own companies, for God's sakes. And when they call me and say, hey, what do you make out of the 60%, 70, 80% drop we've had in refis? Do you think they're coming back? And the answer is yes, I do think they're going to come back in about 8 years. And so as long as you have enough reserves, as long as you understand how to play the market until then, or you have something that can diversify your sources of income and revenue, then you'll be okay. If not, for most people, it's not that they're going to get impacted in a really terrible way. For most people, they just never got around to being very productive anyway. So their doors are going to just shut on them and they're out. And so I think that we're probably going to drop off, from my perspective, my team, probably 65% of the MLOs, I think will be gone by next year, just because of the simple fact that, a lot of the hope, what ends up happening, we, meaning human beings, when things happen the way they're about to happen, we have a tendency to circle the wagons around the people that are in all the way, if you would. And that's why I say that the ones that are doing good will always do good to a certain degree. But for a lot of others, unless you just like hanging around, then it's not going to be as profitable. I mean, that's just the reality. Mortgage rates soar close to 5%. We actually surpassed that on Friday. I was speaking with Red. He was just telling me how, man, it's ugly. It went from like decreasing to ugly. And, my whole thing, if you guys have heard me say it, but that's just part of the plan. I mean, you've heard me say it many, many times. And that's why I want to open it up to any questions anybody might have about anything, because of the simple fact that my whole thing is that's actually according to plan. If you think that's ugly, wait till what happens in the next month or two, especially as we clear into the summer. And of course, my whole thing is wait, and by the fall, the dust will start to settle, and those that are in are still in, those that are gone, which would be most people, are gone. And so, it is tough. I had another person call me, a realtor, tell me how tough it is to qualify people at 4.75. I was like, well, try to 5.5. I mean, we have to make that adjustment, where on one side, the good news about rising rates is that home prices will eventually start to level off and eventually start to go down. But before that happens, you have people like my daughter who just bought a house making a mad dash to purchase homes, which only increases the demand. Thursday, the sale that I had the listing just recorded, and I was telling the client the timing could not have been better. Literally could not have been better, because yes, there's a mad rush for clientele right now, but that's going to die off in a couple of months. And then we're left with I have a friend of mine in Europe. It's an investor. They have, properties in various countries in Europe, and they're calling just telling us how they're blown away how prices are actually dropping, which they had not seen for what seems like forever. But the prices of it's like, can you believe it? Real estate is actually dropping. I go, just like COVID, just like everything, what happens over there is going to eventually happen over here because we're all tied to a world global monetary fund, if you would. And that's just the way it is. Inflation, unfortunately, is hitting everywhere. And then on top of that, Ukraine and then the inflation. I mean, it's just a bunch of stuff. So it's all according to plan. But anyways, we'll talk about this in 1 second. I want to thank this gentleman, Stephen Bryan, who was actually with me at the LAPD Van Nuys station this past Wednesday, learning the ropes as it relates to what I call specialized markets. This is his first, he just stuck his toe in the water with the police event. It was again at the police station. The next step for him is to come to the actual roll call presentations inside and learn how to work the room itself for leads. Let me tell you something. If you're not doing a lot, and I mean a lot of marketing, you're in trouble. I'm not going to sit here and give anybody false hope. You are in deep trouble for the simple fact that what was tough yesterday just became a hell of a lot tougher today. And that's just the way it is. And so having said that, the training is going to revolve really about why marketing is so important in a rising rate environment, which we are barely starting it. We're barely starting. We just had a few adjustments and damn, there goes our whole refi business. We're moving forward and bam, now there goes some of our loan officers and realtors and beyond that. And there goes even more. And so again, it's just an adjustment. We're oversaturated. And I actually like it. I don't like to see people lose, people wash out. I'm not saying that at all, but I'm just saying from a market perspective, we are right back where we were in 2007 when in California, 1 in 12 people had their real estate license. Now something like 1 in 25 or 30 have an NMLS license, for God's sake. So the days of just because you have a license meaning something are gone unless you can do something with it. And of course, the challenge we always have had and will continue to have is that we're in a commissions only type of environment where we all gravitate to the ones that are doing their part, and the ones that don't will just kind of, the system, if you would, takes care of them by itself. And I don't believe in that, but that's what I'm telling you. I'm not giving anybody false hope. Look at our webinar. We have less people today, and we're actually going to purge our text reminder list because I don't like sending 300 text messages for 6-7 people that are going to be joining us moving forward. But I'd rather just personally text these 6 people from my phone and make sure that they're making good money. That's the best thing you can do for your people directly by just more in mortgages, which is tougher, by the way, 5 times tougher than it was a year ago, or indirectly, but other sources of income. Again, the whole concept for us is that if you're a realtor, we'll diversify your income by doing some of the mortgages. And if you're a mortgage, well, maybe consider being a realtor. I think that's a tough sell going from from a loan officer to a realtor. I would never push that because you're getting, meaning the other way around, it's a no-brainer. If you're already a realtor, yes, become a loan officer to diversify, especially the decreasing rates we've been having for years where it's a no-brainer. But now it's not going to work as well. And then if you are a loan officer, I would never suggest you become a realtor because you're going to be fishing from the same pond that's drying up, number one. Number two, you're in the worst position where you're a newbie. The number of people coming out of the woodwork to help you is just not going to be there. And so therefore, I believe in doing something that can protect you against the uncertainties of that. And you guys, I think, know what I'm talking about. I've got people on the life insurance side that diversify that. They have access to markets that in turn lead into the mortgages, which we've been doing forever. And then, of course, on the other side, we've got some of you that have decided to take a dip in the solar side of the house, which I think is the way to go for the simple reason that times are going to get very tough in this country. And so therefore, anything having to do with saving money with nothing out of pocket will always continue to sound very, very sexy to people. And I actually have some of you that are doing it. So if you don't mind, I'm going to call on you. I know Vanessa is the only person that I see that's here that's doing it, but I'll talk to you about that in just 1 second. On one side, we have the church the church fundraiser campaign. We have given everybody their actual flyers. We're not preparing any more flyers. Now the answer, when anybody tells me, hey, can you help me with this flyer? What is my answer now? Anybody know? What is it?
Canva.
Go to Canva.
Go to Canva. Go to Canva. And if I don't know how to create it, watch the video. And if not, take a screenshot of this and then put it into Canva and edit over it if you have to. But guys and gals, listen to me. Listen to me very, very clearly. I'm not, you know me, man. I'm the most optimistic person you will ever come across. But I am the first guy that will tell you I don't believe in false hope. I don't believe in false hope. And so it's very, very important to keep a close eye on your reserves because we're going to have to buckle in if on the real estate industry as a whole. But I was telling another broker that called me this week about for my thoughts. I told him we're going to go into the worst part of it. The worst part of it is the adjustment period. That is always the toughest thing of all. Whether it's a change in your health, a change in your marital status, whether it's a change in the passing of a loved one. I mean, the toughest period is just the adjustment period. Everybody will be okay to one degree or another. I promise you that. Even the ones that wash out, they'll be okay eventually. I guarantee you. That's the beauty about being in this country. We don't have people starving to death on the sidewalks because they just simply can't generate something. That we will all do something. However, I'm not giving people false hope. I'm not sitting here telling you. I'm telling you, it's going to get bumpy. And so it would behoove you to learn, or at least by now, it's not about learning, it's about implementing. We got a lot of people just in my team that make it a habit of learning and never implementing. So those people are going to be gone. And so my recommendation is, again, whether it be churches, where you can go to churches. And the beauty is that there will always be a need for cash out. I'm not saying that mortgages are drying up, they're going to be dead. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that the days of the super low hanging fruit of the 2.2% interest rates, the threes, the fours, they are gone. That's what I'm telling you. Those days are gone. And when you remove that much fruit from the tree, you are only left with the fruit that's higher up in the tree that's simply harder to get. So if we have less fruit and the same number of loan officers or realtors going after the same business, it gets tougher. If we have companies that are increasing their budget for marketing via the internet, it gets tougher for us. And so what I'm saying is you're going to have to evolve and you're going to have to step up your game. Otherwise, you will be wiped out, guaranteed. That's just the way it is. It's not the end of the world. That's just the reality. It's not just me saying that. It's just the way it simply works. And so anyways, whether it be something as simple as churches. Now, we got people simply, I don't like churches. Well, they don't work the church campaign. But if you are a true marketer and you understand that I work with a synagogue, like I work with the temple, like I work with a church, like I work with a mosque. I mean, I've worked with everybody. I mean, I don't care. I really do want to help people. And in the process, be financially secure myself. So make sure that you understand that anything I mentioned, that if you're working with the church campaign, well, then call it the mosque campaign, if that's what you want to do, or the synagogue campaign, or whatever. But the essence of it is you going out there and giving, and in return for giving, you will receive. It never, ever fails if you try. One thing that I'm also encouraging everybody to do, if you don't have a solid, and by solid, I'm talking about some kind of system to manage your like a CRM, where you can email people consistently or prospects and so on, do so. I mentioned how on Wednesday, we went to the police. We had a big snafu where the appointment cards that we left with the officers, they shrunk them to make them smaller, like the size of a business card. Well, guess what? Our people couldn't see where it said, do you want to buy, sell, or refinance a home? They couldn't see it. And so we lost everything there. But we still learned, and Stevens still learned, and it was worth it. But we did extract some of the emails. I sent them an email yesterday via my constant contact, just saying, hey, if you're still interested, we can give you a free 43-night stay in Las Vegas, and just offer them something. People always buy, people always sell, people are getting married, they're getting divorced, people are dying, people are growing their homes, and people are looking to downsize. It's just the cycle of life. It's just that we've been so spoiled with so much artificial low-hanging fruit. Artificial meaning that the government did it. They caused it. And I'm not saying it's good or bad. I'm just saying that they were the ones that were causing it because of the artificial lowering of rates because of pandemic and all that other crap that's been going on. And so therefore, it's been killing our savers. Rates are good if you're borrowing, but it sucks if you're a saver, if you're retired, if you have a 401k, a 403b, a 457, because that's where their money comes from. And they've been getting hammered and killed with very low interest rates on savings accounts and so on. And so therefore, it's going to come to an end. And here it is. It's truly coming to an end. On top of that, when I was talking to this broker, I was explaining to him, if you think about just the pure economics of rising interest rates, we cannot qualify our people anymore. My daughter right now, she's a registered nurse. She makes over 100-something thousand. Her husband makes 100,000. They wouldn't even qualify for the home they bought in Menifee at the 5.25%. And so therefore, yes, there's a mad dash like her to just saturate the market with buyers, but that dies off as well. And eventually, once the properties start to go down in value, you have a lot of people who are no longer purchasing. The demand will eventually start to go down as well. And so again, what does it all mean to us? Well, it just all means that we've been getting spoiled like you wouldn't believe the last couple of years. And so therefore, you're going to have to make sure you go out there now and generate whatever business you're going to be submitting, because it's just crawling to you asking for a lower rate. But it's not a bad thing, like I said, if you understand it. So if you don't have some type of CRM, at the very least CRM, and I'm talking about lines that's for realtors. I'm talking about, if you're with EXP, you have one built in, a very good one built into your platform, and so on and so on. My recommendation to everyone has always been, if you can, join a company where you can build the team and diversify where your business and who your business comes from. And you don't have to be a broker. Back in the day, you had to be a broker to have a team of realtors or a team of loan officers on your team that you got paid a portion of their production, and you bring them value and you get paid. Well, now we have companies like the EXPs of the world where you can earn like a broker without being one, and many other companies like that. So my recommendation, become a broker, or better yet, work as a broker to see if you even can do it. Because if you become a broker and you still can't recruit talent, you're going to be back to square one. So I would encourage you to diversify who you get your business from, meaning that if you're looking to do that, at least try to form yourself a team in that. Also, this is the flyer we used Wednesday at the police station. Now, I guarantee you there's a police station within probably 5 miles of your home. And if not, you can go use this thing called Google and type in police stations in the state of California, and you'll get a whole list of them. The number one challenge people have with working specialized markets is getting themselves out of their comfort zone. And the reason I say that is because if you are doing anything but what I'm talking to you about and you're making money, you don't need to do this. I'm talking about people who want to or need to make more money, but yet it's not that they don't want to work in the specialized markets. It's that many times they just don't want to work. You're going to have to pay the price. And so I think that police stations have been very good to us. As a matter of fact, I'll talk to you about that in just 1 second. And the reason that I say this is because, not myself, you might say, yeah, but you're a cop. And no, listen, the people that make the most money in my team on the life insurance side make over $100,000, $200,000 by leveraging these markets themselves. And they never worked for the police. Now, I played a little bit of a role in showing them how, but they played a major role by implementing it. And so again, how many police stations do you know that would like to increase how much money they raise every month for their police station? Some of them have what's called Explorer programs, where they have a youth program, or they have a sports program, or they have their police station fund. Every police station in this country has what's called a station fund. A station fund basically pays for the, let's just say for the stuff that the city doesn't pay for. The coffee, water. They might have a water station or something like that. And I say this for the simple fact that every single one of them can use more money, just like every single church can use more money. Also, we have the church fundraising campaign flip chart, which we gave everybody. So you have access to that where it does the work for you. The question is, are you going to get out of your comfort zone long enough to make sure that you survive the winter that's coming? Because I guarantee you, winter is coming. And so just like the spring, just like the summer, just like the fall, it's a season. It doesn't have to be your final blow. It doesn't have to be where you're going to not eat for the entire winter. It just simply means the dynamics of the market are changing. That's it. It's not the end of the world. The rest of the world will continue to get referrals. He'll probably get less, but he'll still close those, I guarantee you. But he has a little bit of an advantage over you and I because he's been here so long. So the question is, how do we see ourselves through this? And that's where, again, diversifying your income, going with working the real estate side and the mortgage side and the real estate side, or something like that. What I wanted to do, and she just happens to be here, well, I guess because she's here all the time, but I didn't tell her I was calling her, is that when people ask me, what do I think? I always tell them, well, I can tell you what I think, or I can show you what I'm doing. And what I'm doing, and see, most of you don't even know what I'm doing, but what I'm doing is I'm trying to insulate the key people on my mortgage team, which are most of them realtors, so they come along for the ride. I'm trying to insulate them against a drop in income. And what I mean is that I don't know too many realtors who do real estate just because they like real estate. Most of them like to get paid. I don't know that many loan officers that do loans just because they love loans. They like to get paid. And so what I'm getting at is that it's not the industry, but rather the income that any industry provides for us. I'm very blessed. For 15 years, I worked with this company called First Financial Security. I have a team of a ton, which most of the time I don't even bring him into the mortgage world. I think from here, the guy that holds the record is probably Steven, the only one that has made the crossover, if you would. I don't really do that. I just don't do that because a lot of people have a hard time identifying themselves as marketers, and we identify ourselves as realtors or as loan officers, regardless of how much or how little business we have, how much money we're making. We just see ourselves as that. I don't see myself as that. So to avoid confusion, I don't talk about one with the other, and I let people be wherever they might be productive and making money. I'm happy with that. And as you guys know, I've been working on a project because of this very reason. If you guys are all loan officers, and I'm telling you, you should consider being a real estate agent to diversify your business. Well, that would be a lie because it's the same industry. And not only that, but how long would it take? Anybody know? I think Steven knew the answer. Somebody was telling me, how long did it take nowadays in 2022 for somebody to, let's just say you're just a loan officer and you want to become a realtor, you know how long it takes for you to complete your pre-licensing requisites with principals? Anybody know? Was it you, Steven? Somebody told you? Was it you?
No. I'm doing the life and
yeah. Somebody was telling me. Who? Anybody know? If you started full time right now to work on becoming a realtor, how long do you have to? How long is it going to take you to finish the prerequisites before you can even take the exam? God forbid you pass. You fail it. But anyway, no.
I got a buddy of mine that's been doing it. It's taken him, I think, like 3 months or 4 months to
So
get
far?
it. And then he failed the first exam by a point.
Okay. Anybody else? That's a good answer. Yeah. It's actually correct.
I really don't know, Javier. I know when I got my license, we needed like 6 classes, right? And
yes.
But you could take principles and take a test, and you could do, you were like on a conditional license until you got your other classes done. But now I think you have to do all the classes before you can take a test.
Yeah, Vanessa. Yeah, that was back in the day. Yes, you're right.
Yeah, so I'm aging myself, but
I don't want to say it. I didn't want to say that. I was going to say you're aging yourself. You said it, not me. Anybody?
Oh, that's true.
All right. Well, anyways, if you start it right now full time, it's going to take minimum per the state of 5 months before you can even sit for the exam. And so that would be a lie. One thing, and I'm not sharing this with you because when it comes to the recording, I'm going to end it right here, just so you know the recording. And to prove a point, I'm just going to do it right now. So don't hang up anybody. But let me just say this. So there you see the importance of marketing during increasing rates. It's going to get ugly. The winter's here. Some will survive to the spring. Some will not. That's life. Oh, well. But the point is, don't let it be you. Make sure you leave nothing to chance that you are elevating your chances for success by embracing the super many tools that we give you here and ideas that not only do we tell you what you can do, hell, like with Steven, we'll go with you. But the question is, will you even try? And that's only an answer that you can try. So I'm going to end the recording right here. I want to say thank you for everybody doing the video. And I'm going to, again, wish you nothing but success. Hold on.